Our roots are what tie us to our lands. But what happens when the land starts to die? When the rain doesn't fall? When the wells start to dry up? And what happens when we can no longer hear our ancestors' voices? We lose our sense of direction because our great leaders are who guide us today. But what happens when police brutality becomes everyday life? What happens when you become afraid of walking outside after dark? You shouldn't go out after dark anyway. But what happens when you become afraid for your life? When you get beaten simply because it's past curfew? The virus changed everything. It made everything worse. If a father were to die because of this virus, who would take care of his family when he had no job? If something were to happen to the mother, who is going to support her children? If the children were to get sick, where are they going to get treated when the hospitals are closed? I'm Zimbabwean, and yet I live in New Zealand. I'm not experiencing what other Zimbabweans are going through, but I watch the news. I see doctors going on strike because there's not enough pay. They can't afford to go to work. They can't afford to buy food for themselves. They can't afford to save lives. I see what happens every day. I feel my roots breaking, and when the blood of my family spills, I feel my culture dying. And that's when you see those that call themselves leaders, driving Porsche cars and living in 24-bedroom houses when only 2 people live in it. They feed us fake promises simply because they want our money, to pay security forces that are gonna kill us. Security becomes brutality. He offered us a better country. He calls himself a leader. But he's depending on our loyalty to survive. Emerson Mnangagwa, you promised us a better country. You said you were gonna offer us jobs. You said you were gonna grow our economy. But the people are starving. Families can't even afford to buy the cheapest of meals. 1 meal per day, that's all they get. Robert Mugabe, you died, but you left our country on the verge of collapsing. I feel my culture dying. I feel my roots breaking, and yet they don't care. It doesn't affect them, so they don't care. The police were supposed to protect us. Security became brutality. The police used force to control us. Shadows became nightmares. And that's when you see their children. Their children can afford to pour wine over expensive watches. They hold bundles of money to their ears and then post it on social media as if saying, you can afford to buy phones, but I can afford to make phone calls with the money itself. Money that could save people. Money that could save my dying country. Money that could save those that I see every day walking hundreds of miles just to get 1 bucket of water. I see little children dying. I see families breaking apart. I see what I used to see as home breaking. Everything I once knew as my culture. It's all getting lost. And yet, they don't care. It doesn't affect them, so they don't care. Zimbabwean lives matter as well. Why can't you just see that?